In this lesson, we'll finish the animation of the cardboard falling. Let's go ahead and turn off our character set node. And now we'll want to go ahead and smooth out the interpolation from or of the cardboard. So with that selected, we can go to the graph editor, and we could even go to the perspective and graph editor view. So let's go there. And then with the control still selected, we'll use plateau. Now, being that we have our default in and out tangency set to linear stepped for blocking, let's go ahead and change that. And we could even set up a mel button, a couple of mel buttons to switch back and forth between our default tangent settings. So the way that would work, if we went to animation, let's say we switch this to plateau. Okay, we'll switch that to plateau. And with that, if we were to go to our script editor, notice we have lines that tell us, all right, we have switched our default in and out tangency, so we could actually use these lines to work as a mel button to switch it a little bit faster rather than going to the preferences. So we can go to our custom tab and add the icon there. Then we'd simply select the first line for default in, copy that, paste it in the script editor, and copy the next line, okay, for the out tangency. Okay, in is I, out is O. It's really self-explanatory. And then with this, we can select both lines, hold the middle mouse button, and drag it to the shelf. So here we have it. And now to label this so we know exactly what this is, we go to our shelf editor. It should already bring us to our the right tab, the custom tab, or whichever you'd like to use. Or if not, you can go to the shelves and select whichever tab you'd like to work with. And then for the icon name, we can call this PLT for plateau. Okay, excellent. So from here, we can close this out and work on linear and stepped. So going back to our blocking phase if we need to. Now that's going to be quite simple. If we were to, let's say, with both of these lines copied, let's go ahead and copy them. We'll just go a few more lines down, paste. For a linear, okay, for our end tangency, that's going to be as simple as typing in linear. But now for stepped, it's actually just going to be step. Okay, no past tense. And then we simply would select both of these, middle click and drag to our shelf, and rename. So we'll make sure we select the right line, the one right underneath, and call this STP for stepped. Okay, great. So now, if we were to close out our script editor and look at this, now, if we were to go to stepped right now, notice it's not going to update in the preferences, but if we were to go back to the preferences, go to animation, notice there it is. We have it switched very quickly. And the same thing applies for plateau. But we want to switch it back to plateau, so we'll go ahead and select that. We can close out our preferences. Okay, great. Now, going back to the platform, we're going to add a few, we're going to animate a few of our axes, not just the rotate X, because that would possibly make it look unnatural. So we're going to add a little bit more motion here, but we'll work on the primary motion right now. So as the cardboard falls, we're actually going to want to pose where it doesn't fall until the watchman is leaning into it. So let's go to frame 80 and we'll zero out our rotation X here. And then to show the weight of the fall, we could actually add weighted tangency to our function curves. So we can select the curve or a key if we like, and then go to curves. And I'll even tear this off. But it's the last selection. Go down to weighted tangents. And you can see how the tangents do thicken, telling us that they're now weighted. And then we could even take it a step further and add free tangent weights. Okay, and this is going to help us to really get that weight without adding nearly as many keys as we think we would need. So we can take this key on frame 90. Let's go ahead and just remove that. And even we can have the platform fall a little bit sooner than it does. Okay, so here's where we start to really get specific with what's going on. So let's bring this key to 97. Can take the key on 96 and remove it. And now to make this work for us, what we need to do is basically with this key selected, we'll apply free tangent weight on it. Can go to keys, go down to free tangent weights. And then we could even break the tangency here. So it'll allow us to just move and edit what we need to. And I also like to hold Alt, Shift, and right mouse button, click and drag so we can really get a better detailed view of what's happening. So up and down, holding Alt and Shift will allow us to skew our view vertically and horizontally, dragging left and right. So we'll get a nice detailed view in here. And then we'll select the key on frame 80. Let's also free its tangent weight. And we'll break its tangency. Another way we could do that is just either selecting the break tangent icon or going to keys, break tangents. Now we can go ahead and select this this tangent on frame 80, hold Shift and middle mouse button, click and drag to our right. So we can have more of a hold as it falls, and then boom, it's going to hit. But for the hit, we're going to need to take this, the tangency on 97, and bring that in so we have a nice concave type of curve. So as we look at this, hitting play, boom, we have a nice feeling of weight as it hits. And we could even see if we could adjust it a little bit further so we have a better impact by bringing this down. Hit play. Great. All right, now of course it's going to bounce up. Okay, on or after impact. So we can go a few more frames after, about frame 103, go to our rotate X, and just rotate it up very slightly, not much. Great. And then we'll have it drop. About 109, let's go ahead and bring it back to a value of 90. So let's see how this looks when we hit play. Alright, that might be a little bit too slow. We could also adjust our range too. Let's see. Let's take this key and even bring it closer, perhaps to 106. Let's see how this looks. Alright, that looks better. And it looks like as the cardboard raises that it's probably going up a little bit too slow, so we could always bring these down a couple more frames. Okay, so to 101 and 104 where it falls back. Alright, excellent. That's looking much better. Now as far as the other movement we're going to add, we're basically going to have it so that it slides forward a bit and also rotates in the Y. So as it falls, it starts to fall at, say, about frame 90. We'll go to our move tool. Alright, so we're going to want to move in the Z. We'll set a key there for the Z. And then on impact, on 97, we'll have it move a little bit more forward. And can even pay attention to the key that we're setting. And then have it slide forward until 107. Move it up a little bit more. Let's see how that looks. Hit play. Alright, maybe we could even have it move up a little bit more. Can select the key on 107 for the translate Z, move it up a little bit. Hit play. Alright, great. And now we'll add a little bit of rotation offset in the Y. So that'll be after impact. So on 97, okay, we can set a key for the Y. And then on frame 107, we'll have it rotate slightly, going to the character's left. Alright, great. Just so that it doesn't look linear as it falls. Alright, so there we have it. We have a nice feeling of weight now too as it does fall. What we could also do is go to the other attributes that we won't animate and just clean up their keys. So that's going to be the translate Y. We didn't animate on that, nor the translate X, nor the rotate Z. So we can go to those three, rotate Z, control click the translate Y and the translate X. Okay, careful not to get the ones that we have animated, and we can right click and just go to break connections to clean them up. Okay, we want to look at ways we can optimize our the keyframes that we set. Alright, so there we have it. We have our cardboard falling, and of course we can now do a play blast in our shot camera. We'll go to panels, we'll go to save layouts. Just go ahead and see how this is come together before we call it finished. So we can adjust our range and work on doing a play blast. Here's what we end up with. Great. So again, we're getting a nice feeling of weight from this cardboard cutout as it falls. So what we're going to now do is move on to actually animating the camera. Being that the character's eyes are going to follow that camera, it would probably make a little bit more sense to work on the motion of the camera before we get to finalizing the character in this situation. So again, in the next lesson, we'll bring our attention to finalizing the camera's movement.